Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to tell you about the 10 worst punishments ever given to humans. Throughout history, humans have come up with some truly horrifying punishments. From medieval torture to extreme modern-day sentences, some punishments were so cruel, they sound like something out of a nightmare. At number 10 we have the brazen bull. Imagine being burned alive, but inside a giant metal bull. That's exactly what the brazen bull was designed for. Invented by the ancient Greeks, this horrific execution device was a hollow bronze bull where victims were locked inside. A fire was lit underneath, slowly roasting them alive. The worst part? The Greeks specifically engineered it so that the victims' screams would sound like a real bull roaring. Talk about next-level cruelty. Number 9 is one of the most disturbing punishments in history. The ancient Persians used scaphism to make sure their enemies suffered slow, agonizing deaths. Victims were strapped inside 2 boats, force-fed milk and honey, and left to rot in the sun while insects slowly ate them alive. They would stay alive for days or even weeks as their body rotted from the inside out. Yeah, this one's straight out of a horror movie. Number 8 is the blood eagle. The Vikings were ruthless, but nothing compares to their blood eagle punishment. This brutal execution involved cutting open a victim's back, pulling out their ribs, and stretching them to look like wings. If that wasn't enough, salt was sometimes rubbed into the wounds to keep them awake through the pain. Legends say this was reserved for the worst traitors. Next up is called lingqi. In Imperial China, traitors and criminals faced lingqi, also known as death by 1,000 cuts. The name says it all. Executioners would slowly cut pieces of flesh from the victim's body until they bled to death. This agonizing execution was designed to make death as slow and painful as possible, sometimes lasting for hours. Number 6 is the rat torture. Imagine being tied down while hungry rats are placed in a cage on your stomach. Now imagine that cage being heated up, so the rats start digging through your body to escape. This was a real torture method used in medieval Europe and South America. The victim had only one way out, and it was through pure agony. Moving on to number 5, we have flaying. This is one of the oldest and most painful punishments ever recorded. Flaying was the brutal process of removing someone's skin while they were still alive. Some records say victims could survive for hours before they finally passed out from pain and blood loss. This wasn't just punishment, it was psychological terror. Next on our list is being boiled alive. If you thought medieval torture couldn't get worse, how about being boiled alive? In 16th century England, traitors and criminals were lowered into boiling water or oil, slowly cooking them to death. This horrifying execution was designed to be slow and extremely painful, sometimes lasting over an hour. Number 3 is drawing and quartering. In medieval England, the worst criminals were hanged, disemboweled, and then pulled apart by horses. This was called drawing and quartering, and it was saved for traitors to the king. This punishment was so brutal and messy, it was eventually banned in the 19th century. Next up is keelhauling. Pirates and naval forces used keelhauling as a form of torture. Victims were tied to a rope and dragged under the ship, scraping against the sharp barnacles on the hull. If they didn't drown, they would die from infections caused by their wounds. Either way, it was a terrifying way to go. And at the top of our list we have the saw torture. This is one of the most nightmarish punishments ever. In medieval Europe, criminals were hung upside down and sawed in half, slowly, starting from the groin. Since the brain received the most blood, victims could stay alive and conscious for a horrifying amount of time. And that's our list of the top 10 worst punishments in history. Which one shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe for more dark history, and I'll see you in the next one.